Marketing in the simplest form is being where your customers are or your potential customers are.
Hi, I'm Andy North, and welcome to Velocitize Talks. My guest today is JB Kellogg, co-founder and co-CEO at Madwire. JB, thank you so much for being with us.
Thanks, Andy.
So tell us a little bit about Madwire and its unique value proposition in the market.
Our leading platform is Marketing 360, which is a singular platform that allows a small business both to manage their business, so everything you need from payments to CRM and beyond, to grow in your business. So email marketing, social media marketing, multi-channel advertising is all within the platform. So our unique value proposition is that with one login, one low monthly bill, you have all the technology you need to manage and grow your business, which makes your life easier. But also we have talent that you can include in your plan. So if you need people that are experts at creating videos or writing content or designing beautiful collateral, you have access to that talent on demand through the platform as well.
We find ourselves in the middle of the pandemic right now, and obviously you work with a lot of small, medium business customers who are probably feeling this in some ways more than most. What has been the challenge that a lot of your customers has faced, and perhaps what do you see the challenges facing a lot of agencies right now?
There's been this push towards getting digital, and that just was accelerated by 10 years with COVID. So I think the biggest challenge is just small businesses really building their customer relationships and customer experiences in the digital world. When I think about like a retail store, a lot of times they would wait for somebody to literally walk in the door before they would say, hey, how you doing? Try to build a great relationship, have a good experience, and then they walk out the door and that's it. But with digital, you can actually create that experience prior to them even coming into the store. You can continue that conversation and that relationship in the digital world. And so really this is inspiring small businesses to innovate and to think outside of the box about how can we have these one-to-one relationships and great experiences in the digital world, multi-channel. And so in many ways, I think it's a blessing because it's allowed businesses to break the mold of what they were stuck in before and really start to evolve, which needed to happen anyways. This just accelerated it.
Do you see them embracing that challenge, or is it just something that you see them sort of taking as they need to get through this pandemic and then perhaps going back to the old ways? Or do you think this is how it will be going forward?
I think some businesses have said, hey, I don't want to deal with it. We're just going to close the doors and be done with it. I think that's come and gone now. The businesses that are still standing have decided that they are going to overcome. And so they're going to innovate, they're going to evolve, which is pretty inspiring, actually. So we at Marketing 360 have actually seen an increase in lead flow. We have more people reaching out to us after COVID than we did before, interested in how they can, upgrade the technologies of their business, how they can innovate their marketing strategies in the digital world. So these are businesses that are saying, hey, you know what? I'm not going to give up. I'm going to adjust. And that's what we're seeing, which is actually pretty cool.
A lot of what draws people to a website is content. And you've got a ton of great content on your personal site at jbkellogg.com, as well as at madwire.com. What do you foresee the future of content marketing is as we continue through this pandemic, and do you see it continuing to grow?
It's a new way of marketing, which is just providing value for free. And if you can provide value for free to people, that builds trust. And trust is the first and most important piece to earning a new customer. People don't do business with people they don't trust. And so how can you build trust? You just start creating valuable content that is either educational or inspiring or funny. I mean, there's a lot of ways to create, valuable content, but how can you create valuable content for your audience, for your industry that will ultimately help increase your awareness and build trust? That's really the trick. If you can figure that out and then do it consistently, you're going to build a tribe essentially, and they're going to eventually become customers.
And that partly addresses my second question here, will be what are brands doing right to engage their audiences, and perhaps what are they doing wrong?
The big brands, are doing a lot of things right. You see now more than ever, they're not so salesy in terms of their content. There's not as much like straight up ads that you're seeing like you used to in the old days. Now it's actually more valuable content, creative content. And it's multi-channel, and they're even finding ways to create these one-to-one experiences and relationships with people digitally. I'd say what businesses are doing wrong maybe is the smaller businesses that haven't fully innovated, and they're moving that way. But there's still a lot of small businesses that you look at their Instagram page and their last post was 2 months ago. if ever. And there's just not a lot happening in these channels. And marketing in the simplest form is being where your customers are or your potential customers are. And they're on Instagram, right? So why aren't you there? And you should be there creating valuable content for your audience. And so I think what small businesses could improve on is actually putting time and effort behind creating valuable content in the channels where their consumers are and their customers are, which isn't every social channel, but just think about where your audience is and start adding value there. I think that can be improved on.
What is the future of websites? You talked about social channels really being the future, current and future of a lot of SMBs and a lot of agencies and brands. Is the website shrinking? Is it becoming more powerful? Is it going away with apps and social channels? What are your thoughts there?
The website is your digital headquarters in the digital world. And so I think it's almost even more important now to make sure that your website is amazing. There was a lot of small businesses before that had a really beautiful storefront and brick and mortar, but you go to their website and it seems like it's 10 years in the past. Those times are going away because people are judging you now by your website more than ever. Apps are important if you have an existing customer base that could use the app in some kind of way to continue the relationship with you and make their life easier. But it's not the way that they're discovering you. You don't go into the app store to search for a local business. That wouldn't make any sense. You would go to the app store to specifically find an app that does something. And so where that research phase is occurring is online, and what they're researching is your website.
Per your earlier answer, that's a great opportunity for you with some of your clients and new clients is the value of your website. It really is sort of the front door of your store, if you will, now, and to get them in the front door with some of that content marketing.
Yeah, your website, you're right. That is where you're putting all that content initially. So that's where it goes initially, but then you start distributing it on all the social channels. You send it in email campaigns, et cetera. But that all starts on your website, and your website, you're going to have different products and services that you provide. And so you really need to have a great page for each of those. You should have a great video for each of those. And as you're creating these videos and these case studies and these infographics and these things to help support that, that's great content to then also start, posting on social media.
Madwire has been in existence since 2009. So you've seen a lot as far as digital marketing. What are some trends that you're excited about with digital marketing?
The trends that I'm excited about is really just this push towards the singular platform. And, that's what we're trying to do with Marketing 360. And we're not 100% there yet, but we've built a tremendous amount of functionality within the platform so that from one login, you literally have everything you need to manage and grow the business. I think the trend that we're seeing is people are starting to get frustrated that they have to log into this solution to send email and this solution to manage a Facebook ad and this solution over here for their CRM contacts. And then they have to use like Zapier and all these other tools to try to make them talk to each other. And it becomes a nightmare. And so I think where we're going to see it go in the next 3 or 4 years or sooner is one platform, more of a closed platform that has an API so you can integrate things if you want to, but everything's natively built together and communicates together. So when you put a form on your site, it goes into your CRM automatically. When you need to charge them, you send them an invoice. Once they pay, it asks for a review. You can really start to automate your business so you're doing more with less, which I think is the goal.
Some have said that the future of storytelling is 8 seconds or less. How do you help your clients tell a good story in an era of 8-second attention spans? How do you help them continue to hook those people? Obviously, we talked about content marketing, but can you tell a good story in such a short time period?
Yeah, I know that is challenging. I think the key isn't necessarily to tell the whole story in 8 seconds, but it's to hook them in 8 seconds. I think that's the key. And, it's platforms like TikTok and Instagram stories. And these platforms have such small windows of content. I mean, it's 15 seconds. They give you 15 seconds and a minute if you're lucky. So you really have to get good about telling an engaging story quickly so that they're hooked and they stay longer. With Instagram now, they have Instagram TV, which can go on for an hour, but really what's going to get them is that first 10 seconds before they click to watch, the rest of it. And so how are you doing that? But if you can pass valuable information in 15 seconds, you should do it. You'd be surprised how much content you can share in 15 seconds. If you actually try it, you can cover a lot of ground. So break it down, instead of doing a video where you have 10 tips about a particular thing, just give them one tip in 15 seconds and then It's actually better that way because now you create, 10 pieces of content instead of one, which is helping you cover more ground in the social world. So I think you can use it to your advantage if you do it right.
That's an excellent idea. It also speaks to my question. I was going to ask about user experience, and the pendulum has swung from we're going to tell you what we want you to read and what you should read to the consumer is always right, and they're going to pick and choose what they want to consume from your brand or your small business. How do you see small businesses continuing to embrace that trend of making sure that the user experience is the best that it can be?
Yeah, I think you need to just really make sure that your website and on social media and all your different places where your brand is, first off, is a cohesive brand with a cohesive message, and the right audience will start to follow you and engage with you. And you want to just do more of what's working and less of what's not, I think. So you want to look at the data. And if you're creating certain types of content, you need, and they like it, you should create more. If you're creating content and you're not seeing a lot going on there, you should do less. Over time, that way you're creating more content and more messaging that fits your audience. So they really don't have to look because you're creating what they actually want. If you do have a lot of different services and types of content that would make sense, then in that scenario, you just need to make sure that stuff's easily navigatable. So you want to hashtag stuff right. You want to make sure that it's in the right categories and pages on your website so that, I always say it should be so easy your grandma could do it. She should be able to get in there and find her exactly what she needs within a minute, or actually more like 10 seconds. Otherwise, what you're going to see if it's a website, you're going to see a high bounce rate.
This has been Velocitize Talks. My guest today has been JB Kellogg, co-founder and co-CEO at Madwire. JB, thanks so much. Really appreciate it.